Welcome to another Bullion Now stream. Today is Michael's Mailbox, and we've got Michael and...
Lewis.
Welcome on in, Lewis. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Oh, yeah. Pretty good.
Big brave start there, mate.
Yeah.
So we've got Lewis joining us. Where are you from, Lewis?
Adelaide.
There, centre of the universe, Adelaide. So I like
In the middle of
Adelaide.
nowhere.
No, Adelaide's I love Adelaide. It's peak hour traffic's 3 cars, a bus and a tractor.
Yeah, pretty much.
know, It's a big country town. I love Adelaide. So it's a fantastic place. So, yeah. Why are you here?
Yeah.
That's very abrupt there.
What are you
Oh,
doing
you know.
here?
So, have you been doing a little bit of shopping? Have you?
At Bullion Now, yes.
He
but
did, actually.
Yeah, went down to South Yarra for lunch. That was
very
pretty
nice.
good. Yeah, went down to one of the pubs there.
Yeah.
Yeah, apart from that, just came here and just doing a bit of sightseeing.
So for those that haven't met Lewis before, Lewis has been part of our family for several years. Started off when he was much younger, believe it or not, buying bullion from us. The abbreviated version, he convinced his teachers on a school excursion down to Melbourne from Adelaide to come up to Bullion Now instead of doing what all his mates were doing, which was spending money down at the factory outlets. He came up here and introduced himself and bought some stuff, and he's been buying stuff from us ever since. And he's the one and only work experience kid that we ever had on board, because insurance found out we had a work experience kid and smacked me for it pretty hard, actually.
They would have found out through YouTube, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure how they found out, but they found out, and I got a phone call to say, "Don't do that again. You're not covered."
No,
It's
fair
like,
enough.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, Lewis keeps coming back, and he's done some work for us at different times. And so he stopped in to say good day. So he said, "How about you join us on the live stream and let people know that it's not just us freaks that stack stuff. It's the younger generation as well is getting into it."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Welcome.
So yeah, thank you so much for being on board with us today, Lewis. Welcome everybody from the chat. We got a couple of people in here. We got King Kane. How's it going, Kane? We got Monotramata, Dark Hearts, Boone Nathan, Frank, Goat, Heath, Dr. Bullion, Daniel, Luke, and many, many more. Thank you all for popping in. How has everybody's week been? And the main important question, have you added to your stack this week? Lewis, have you added to your stack this week?
Yes.
What was
definitely.
it? What was
Very
it?
recently.
What was it, if you don't mind us?
I think it was a 2014 1 kilo koala, kookaburra.
I can't remember if it was a good
Yeah,
or
I can't remember.
He scored in the buybacks. It was a buyback kilo,
Yeah.
and it turned out to be a kilo coin. So you did well on that one.
I was happy. And then a 10-ounce coin as well. And 1 ounce platinum kangaroo.
Oh,
Yeah.
doing very well there.
He's stocking up.
Now,
for
Michael,
Christmas.
I know you love this question. What have you added to your stack this week?
Now, I had an answer to this question saved up, and I bloody if I can remember what it was. No, can't remember. Sorry, mate. You're going to have to move on. I did get something this week. It came into the store. Oh, Kruger Ant. I added a Kruger Ant.
Ooh,
So,
a single.
yeah,
What
a gold one.
medal? Oh, lovely. Have you got any or many gold Kruger Ants before, or is this your first gold Kruger?
No, it's not my first gold Kruger. I love the Krugers. I love the... this isn't going to be very popular. I love the controversial nature of Kruger Ants.
Yeah, why? Tell us about why it's controversial, firstly, and then why you love that nature.
Well, I mean, South Africa has a colourful history in many different ways. A beautiful country. And I have a real soft spot for South Africa. And the Kruger Ant is very symbolic of gold bullion around the world. Even people who have nothing to do with gold know what a Kruger Ant is. There's that classic scene in Lethal Weapon 2 or 3 where they're dealing in Kruger Ants, and it's a very common thing. But obviously, it has it's had a very controversial history, and the Kruger Ant has been part of that, and even symbolises that to some degree. So I love coins that tell stories, and I find the Kruger Ant tells a story. So it was an early model one, so it became part of my stack.
Wow.
Now, Lewis, you told me earlier today that you have a favourite or one of your favourite prigs. Would you like to share that with the chat?
My favourite I don't know, platinum. It's the 1 ounce platinum tiger.
Yeah, there's a
That
foregone
does cause a
conclusion.
bit of controversy because it was so limited, but I managed to score one just, and yeah.
Yeah, when the rabbit's released in October, keep yourself a bit of powder dry and grab yourself, if you can get hold of them, grab yourself a platinum rabbit, because you'll find they will sell out within days, and they will increase in value within a few weeks. So, yeah.
So we've got a couple of people in chat jumping in with all the g'days and hellos and welcomes. It's really good to see everyone. Thanks for coming on in. We also have a couple of people throwing in a few early questions. We're just going to get one or two of them.
Can I just hijack it for a
yes,
second?
Absolutely.
Because JG, I owe you an apology. I still haven't called you back from last Friday. You have been on the top of my list, and unfortunately, people keep jumping ahead. I haven't forgotten about the call. I'm desperately trying to get to it today. It might even be later on after work before I get a quiet moment to give you a call. But absolutely, I will. I haven't forgotten about your call, and I will get back to you very, very soon.
Now, something that I would like to do earlier in the stream rather than later in the stream is go through some YouTube video comments. How do you feel about doing that, hitting that straight out the gate, Michael?
I think it's a great idea.
Beautiful. All right. Well, everybody, we're going to go through the last week of videos, and we're going to answer some of the trickier ones or the heavier questions that are out there today. We're going to do it live, and then after that, we will be getting into questions directly from the audience. So stand by. We're going to transition on over to our Bullion Now YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed already, what the heck are you doing? Please click that beautiful subscribe button and leave a like on any of the videos that you enjoy. And yeah, give us some feedback, because
Or
we
a
do
dislike if you don't like it.
or a dislike, because we do read them and go through them and have a good look at them. So we're going to start with yesterday's video. Now, Michael, yesterday you did a mini rant for the first time in quite a while. Tell me about that.
Oh, well, you know, it's what happens when I listen to things coming into work in the morning and get on my hobby horse.
Because you were this was something that you were very excited about getting back into, the mini rants.
Yeah, look, I think they're I think it's important for bullion dealers to get the news and the education out there and comment on relevant facts and how they relate or how they're going to impact bullion. And there's one we'll probably touch on a little bit later that's kicking around at the moment. But it was very uncomfortable listening to this. It was actually a podcast I was listening to about the building industry and the collapsing of companies in the building industry. And it was, like I said, uncomfortable. It was very prescient. Very you could, every time they said the word building company, you could replace it with bullion company, and so it made me want to help people know what questions to ask their bullion dealer to make sure that they are going to be around for the longer term, and make sure certain things are in place to ensure that they're doing the right thing. So yeah, it was. I was glad I got that chance to do it.
Beautiful. Well, with the first sort of comment that I want us to have a look at, it's not necessarily a question, but I thought it'd be worth having a look at. This one's from Rob. Interesting insight. It seems like you have to work backwards in the bullion industry. Instead of selling for more than you buy for, your goal is just to buy the next batch at what you sold the last batch for, in terms of spot at least. Really interesting stuff. Now, Michael, in the video you did there, a main portion of that was you explaining how you here at Bullion Now, or us here at Bullion Now, do the hedging. What in a quick summary? What's a really what do you think is worth telling to the people that they might not already know generally?
Oh, I don't know. I hoped I covered it fairly well in the video.
I agree, yeah.
But yeah, it's important that your bullion dealer hedges, whether you're dealing with Bullion Now or whether you're dealing with another company anywhere in the world. If they're not hedging and they're not doing it properly, they'll get away with it for a while. They might even get away with it for a year or so, but eventually it will bite them fairly drastically on the butt. And I've seen companies collapse over it. I've seen bullion dealers in tears over it. And I've seen people lose a lot of money because they haven't hedged properly. So, yeah, if you haven't viewed that video, It's only about a 10-minute video, I believe. It's certainly worth the view, and I'm not pumping up my own tyres here. It's worth it just so you get an idea of what questions to ask your bullion dealer. If you're developing a relationship with that bullion dealer, whether it be just straight buying and hoping they're going to be there when time comes to sell, or if you're storing product with them or part of their unallocated or pooled allocated programs. It's a real important video on what questions to ask and what to look for.
If you don't mind me asking,
I don't mind at all.
during the Christmas break, you're closed.
Yes.
Do you still hedge during
Yes.
the Christmas break?
Yes.
And is it as often as you would
No.
if...
No, because our turnover is much lower over that
Okay.
Christmas break because a lot of people are on... The shop's not open. We usually close for a week or two over
Yep.
Christmas. And the turnover's not there. So I make sure I actually make sure we're slightly long going into Christmas break. So I've got a little bit of flexibility there. Not hugely long, but just a little bit long. And then I'll monitor it over the Christmas break. And you'll also find on our website, we reduce the number of products on the website. So that way I can actually have a day off here and there with the family sort of thing without freaking out that we might be overselling in one area or another. So, yeah, that's a great question.
And one more. Say something happens and the shop's closed for a week and nobody can hedge. Say the online store remained open. What would happen if you didn't hedge for a week?
It depends. If I walked away for a week and ignored it, or someone and I hadn't allocated that hedging position to someone else in the company, and there's a couple of the people in the company can actually do it, then I would be worried that I'd walk back to a company that was certainly financially challenged.
Okay.
It certainly has the potential. A week, I'm getting cold sweats just thinking about not monitoring it for a week. It really is, it's vital. It's a lifeline of the company. So, I was going to say second to customer service. I don't think anything is second to hedging, but I certainly don't believe that anything is second to customer service either. So it's a neck and neck race on those two, but they're both vitally important for us. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful. And Lewis, you, not sure if we made it clear already, but you take priority with the questions. If you have any questions that come to mind, you just jump on in there, interrupt both Michael or myself, and you can. Welcome into anybody else who's just jumping in right now and asking who the young fella is. Lewis, give us a quick introduction. Who are you? What are you doing here?
Why are you here?
Why am I here? I'm down from Adelaide. I'm down with my family, so we're just spending the day in Melbourne. Yeah.
And Lewis used to be a work experience individual with Bullion Now, so we thought we'd grab them onto the stream as well.
Yeah, and I'm happy to be here. I love it. Loving the stream. Loving it. Great atmosphere.
Lewis stops by every so often and spends a bit of time with us, which we all enjoy.
Now, we've also got some questions about some Perth Mint news. We will be going over that after this, but at the moment we're going through some YouTube questions on the YouTube channel. And the very next one that I want to go through today is one here from Culture of Currency. They've said, and this is on the construction video that we were just talking about.
Yep.
It is my understanding that Mexico and other Latin American countries are the biggest mining operations and are getting out of COVID restrictions. So we may have a bit of a market surplus at a time of economic uncertainty. So will we have a false sense of smaller values overall? This may be why we did not see spikes in metals when the market was shoved to the side. Timing and manipulation is a trivial thing. What are your thoughts on that one there, Michael?
I don't honestly think... don't run with this too hard. I honestly don't think it matters how much they produce. The market will always absorb it, obviously up to a certain point, but there is worldwide buying of gold, particularly at the moment. I would argue that the sideways or slightly down movement in gold at the moment is people releasing funds to be able to cover other things. So we all buy gold to sell. We don't buy gold to eat or anything along those sort of lines. So whether you intend on selling it tomorrow or 2 or 3 generations' time, eventually it's going to be sold, and that's the purpose it's been bought for. So if people have a need for cash, and people are more and more having a need for cash or an equivalent, so people are unloading, and we're talking the small guys, but we're also talking the big guys. quite a lot of larger companies will, investment companies will hold excess profits and cash in particularly the paper, gold and silver market, because they know it's a very, very, very deep market and it's very easy to liquidate your holdings and get that cash back out quickly. So for things like margin calls, somebody spots a good investment they want to take advantage of. We've had several people sell back over the last couple of weeks because they've kept their savings in precious metals, and now they're converting it into something that they think is a good price, whether it be a house they've found or something along those sort of lines. So that, I think, is more a reflection on the price is that downwards pressure, because people are converting it into other things as they need it. You want to throw any comments in there, Lewis?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment, okay.
Beautiful. Thank you for the response on that one. We have another one from the same video. A great insight into the industry, but ultimately it's not the consumer's job or interest to ask bullion dealers if they are hedging. We are simply looking for the cheapest premium on our purchases. This video seems like we are more expensive, but there's a reason type, which is fine. Which is fine and true, but as a consumer, it's simply who is the cheapest for the same item.
Okay.
Michael, thoughts?
Oh, mate, I could go for a whole live stream on this one.
All right, let's condense it.
It's nothing to do with the fact that we're more expensive, and I would challenge you to find someone that is cheaper than us. It does happen, but it's pretty unusual. Our premiums are right out there. There is a big difference between, when you sourcing things that you don't care about, you go for the cheapest. Like, I don't care what it is. I just want cheap bullion, and that's fine. There is nothing wrong with that. I need to be clear right from the start. But if you're developing a longer term relationship with that dealer, it's really important that you do that with someone that's going to be around for the years in the future, because it's all well and good to buy it at the best price. But if you can't sell it when time comes to sell because the dealer in your area has gone broke and you don't know anyone else, where are you going to sell it? You're not going to get the best price for it. You're now scratching around trying to find whoever you can to take your bullion back and convert it into whatever you need to. So I would suggest that you are looking for whether you're looking for the best price only, or whether you're looking for the best service, or whether you're looking for a combination, or any combination that you want to play around with, I would suggest that the person that you're dealing with, you want to know that they're there for the long term. They're not just a fly-by-night. They have a reputation that they want to stand behind. And that doesn't mean that you have to pay more for that. I absolutely believe that a Perth Mint kilo silver bar is a Perth Mint silver kilo bar, whether you buy it from us, whether you buy it from Perth Mint, or whether you buy it from somewhere else completely different. They're still the same thing. So, yes, absolutely, you're looking for the best price you can get if that's what you want. But you're also looking for a relationship. And it's, it really is the difference between getting good service, good buys, and I would suggest that you are going to get a far better product at a far better price if you've developed a relationship with a good company that hedges than if you're just taking the cheapest one you can see advertised. Because I can tell you as a dealer, we look after our customers that we've developed a relationship with. I mean, Lewis walked in today and scored a buyback. We started off this session. He scored a buyback kilo bar, but it was a 2014 koala coin. It wasn't the only reason, but part of the reason was Lewis has developed a relationship with us over time. So when he turns up, we go, I've got just the thing for you. Just came in. Here you go. So he's picked up a coin at a buyback price.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, really, really good response there. Thank you so much.
I can condense that all into bollocks.
And also looking at most of the other comments, they're usually just, thanks, I like these videos. Awesome, thanks, Michael. Cheers, everybody. So that was some really good comments on that video there. Thank you, everybody who commented on that one. We really do appreciate it. We're going to move straight on to the next video that we have, and we have a really, really interesting comment from E-Waste Ben. This video is a fair chunk of change. This is the 5-ounce super pit that we released just the other day. And someone in the comments just before was saying, you guys mentioned other 5-ounce releases. Was it just the super pits, or are there more?
No, there are more.
There are more to come. They're coming soon. Stand by.
Been saying that for a few days now, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Anyways, Moving back on to E-Waste Ben's comment, we need to form a collector club. Obviously, most of us normal plagues, I assume,
Plebs.
yeah, I assume, yep, can't afford these types of low mintage, high value coins that might become highly valuable as a collector's item. What about a club that you can buy a coin as a group? Say 20 people buy a share of the coin, like this 5-ounce gold super pit, or even a 10 kilogram silver lunar, etc. BN holds the coin, and anyone in the club can have a 5% share. Then, based on secondary market value, we can sell our share or buy someone else's. Michael, what do you think about this idea?
I love the idea, and NFTs is the way to go on this one. And I'd be lying if I said we haven't explored the idea, but any time I've sought legal/financial advice on this, everyone has ducked for cover because precious metals are an investment instrument. There is now, do we need to comply with ASIC and APRA, and can we advertise it? Do you have to be what's the term? Not a professional investor, not a qualified investor. It's got a term.
Certified?
No, I can't remember what it's. There's actually a specific legal term for it. So it really is opening a can of worms, this one. It's not to say that we won't ever do it. I'd actually really, really love to do it, and we've got some basics in place for it, but I mean, I'm having a hard time getting time to list 5-ounce coins that people keep badgering me about. This one's well and truly back on the burner.
There you go. So it's something that we like the sound of, but it's not something that is quite practical at the current moment. So we're going to move on to the next video of last week. This one is Need Platinum. Here it is, 2022 Platinum Kangaroo. These are the 1 ounces. We got a couple of comments on this one. A lot of people are very upset with us, Michael, for releasing so much good stuff all the time and breaking the bank.
This cracks me up because if we release stacks of stuff, we get the we're breaking the bank. You're listing too much, which is great. Like, I know it's all said tongue in cheek, and we take it that way. But if we don't list heaps of stuff, we get the what's going on? You guys can't source it. We're damned if we do and damned if we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Monotremata has a very interesting comment here. It's not necessarily a question, but I think it's worth going through. When Perth Mint start to put a different design on the 1 ounce platinum, as they do with the gold kangaroo every year, then yes, I would buy them. But if I find the silver kangaroo 1 ounce simplistic, I ain't going to buy the part 78. What are your thoughts here, Michael?
Look, I totally agree. I love the coin because it's cheap. It's cheap and cheerful. I don't like the coin because it's unique. If I want a unique one, I will be buying a platinum tiger, a platinum rabbit when it comes out. Those types of things. I love those. They really float my boat. But if I'm just looking at stacking cheap platinum, yeah, sure. That's a good way to go.
What's the because the gold design changes all the time or regularly?
It does.
Why don't they do it with the platinum?
Because they're trying to produce a product for the market that is cheap and cheerful. It's the same reason with they could. There is absolutely no reason why they couldn't change the design on the silver kangaroo every year, the same as they do with most of their other coins. But now you're going to pay a premium. So instead of paying, I'm making up numbers here because I know I should know this, and I apologise for not knowing it, but instead of paying that $6, $7 over spot that you're paying for the kangaroo, which I personally think is too cheap, you're going to be paying that $10, $12 over spot that, you're paying for a kookaburra or a koala or those types of things. So what they're doing is they're trying to fill a hole in the market. So they've got the ones that change every year that look great, that come in capsules like the kookaburra, the koala. And then they've got that cheap and cheerful where they don't change the design. They literally just change one digit on the die and away they go again. They're producing, it's not even down for 12 hours. They are just churning them back out again. And that's why it can be such a cheap coin. It's the same thing for the platinum. Yes, they could go for all these fancy designs, and they used to with the... Help me here. Was it the platypus they used to do in platinum?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So where they used to change the design every year, and the premium was higher. But they've now produced this platinum kangaroo where they can keep the premium down because they don't have to worry about designs and all that sort of stuff, and they can just spin them out a million mile an hour.
When I was in the store before, I remember one of the customers walked in and just wanted 100 1 ounce silver kangaroos. He's like, if you don't want anything that's collectible and you just purely want to stack, then the kangaroo is just the best option.
Absolutely.
In platinum, in silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why. So if you're just looking for something and it's in stock and you just want to buy the metal at the cheapest, at the lowest premium possible, in my opinion, that's what I would do.
Yeah,
and that's what happened today when there were no other exciting platinum coins in stock. I just got the 1 ounce platinum kangaroo because spot's pretty good, silver and platinum wise at the moment, and it's just good to stack up.
No, I totally agree.
I like that. Stack up. I'm going to start using that.
Stack up.
That's good. Good language there. All right. So we're going to move on to the final video of the last 7 days. This video here was the wildflowers of Australia, the Waratah. We had the silver and the gold, and we have a question from Laurie Williams here. Did anyone else notice that the silver is only 3 nines fine, while the gold is 4 nines fine or pure? Michael, did you notice this?
I did.
Tell us about this. What's the go?
No, it's pretty standard in the industry. If we XRF it, you'd see it would come through at 4 nines, although there is argument about whether an XRF can tell the difference between 3 and 4 nines. Look, you're dealing with something that's worth $40 and something that's worth $2,500. Which one do you think they're going to put more time in to make sure it's more pure?
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day.
Perfect. Well, there you go. That's all the videos for the last 7 days. Michael, would you like to dive straight into some spicy news chat?
Yeah. What do you got in mind?
Well, and there've been many people in the chat asking about it recently. The announcement that has come out of the Perth Mint and
Come on, give me a challenge.
And Austrac. Yeah. Do you want to? How do you want to tackle this one?
All right. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm probably going to peeve a lot of people. At the end of the day, this is such a storm in a teacup, and anyone that tries to make a big deal of it is really going for the clickbait. They really are. If Perth Mint didn't do this, I would be seriously worried about the company. They are appointing an external auditor to go over their effectively their KYC. It's not KYC. It's AM. Good grief! I can never remember the letters. AMCLF. So it's knowing where your product's coming from, and we all bullion dealers, all refineries, all banks, we all have to comply with this. Austrac have some incredibly rigid and strict criteria for us. If you're not seen, particularly if you're a company the size of Perth Mint, if you're not seen to be having your books externally audited every so often, and their requirements are getting more and more frequent, then instantly all the suspicion would be raised. This is standard industry practice. There is nothing unusual about this. Someone's grabbed hold of it and thought, we're going to make a big deal of this because Perth Mint, and I'm the first to admit, Perth Mint, was it 2020 or 2021, where they got themselves in a bit of hot water and they did not deal with it on a PR sense very well. It's no wonder that people are linking these things together. But at the end of the day, this is standard industry practice. They've got an external auditor come in. If they didn't do it, Austrac would be having absolute kittens over it. So it's a something nothing, honestly. Just everyone needs to take a chill pill and just accept that this is the sign of a business that is operating properly, not some fly-by-night that's trying to hide things in the background.
When I was doing the research for this us and how we're going to talk about this topic earlier today, I feel like I couldn't find anything new in the recent releases and the recent media releases. I feel like a lot of the stuff that was out there in the last 24 hours or so was kind of just a rehash of an older story from a couple of years ago or an aftermath. What do you think there?
Oh, absolutely. It's obvious. My comment when I was asked this morning, I think it was Ruben, made a comment to me, and I said, look, it was obviously a slow news day for them to dredge this out. Like, seriously, guys, there's more important things out there than this. I'm trying to bring up I've got a notice from the Perth Mint, and I'm just trying to check to see if I'm allowed to read it or not. This was actually sent out to all the Perth Mint distributors, so all the all the retail stores.
Well, while you're skimming that, we've got a question. Where's Matt? Living Adam Man. Matt will be back on Friday, back in the live stream on Friday. He is not involved in the Michael's mailboxes. Normally, we only have Michael, and today it's a very unique situation where we have we are graced by the lovely presence of Lewis. So yeah, it's really good to have a second person on. But normally, this Michael's mailbox is a one-on-one with your local bullion dealer, Michael the man himself. Michael, what do you got?
Look, I'm not going to read it all out because I'm not sure I'm allowed to, but I am going to pull two sentences out, or part of one sentence and the complete of another. So it's important to understand that the external auditor is being appointed to the Perth Mint, and they are doing it themselves. They're not being pressured. It's not being forced by someone else. However, and this is a line I'm going to read, this appointment is in line with the AUSTRAC notice dated 30th of August 2022, and they actually link the AUSTRAC notice. So this is just them complying with AUSTRAC requirements. It's not, again, it's a storm in a teacup, and I would be... most bullion dealers have done this, have had an external auditor come through at some point, whether it be on a regular basis or semi-frequently. The auditor, if he's doing his job, will find something because we're humans. You know, we miss updates on laws. We misinterpret certain words, things like that. So there will be recommendations that come out of this, and it'll be like, you know, tighten up this area. You need to look at this. This probably isn't as tight as it should be. Don't be surprised, and if the media gets hold of that again and blows it up as Perth Mint's, you know, blah blah blah, mate, you got to just see through the lines and just go on with the fact that they've had an auditor. The auditor's gone through, found a couple of things which Perth Mint will, I guarantee you, and I don't work for the Perth Mint, I can't speak on their behalf, but anyone worth their salt is going to say, yep, look, fair cop, you know, we don't agree with this one, but these two, yeah, you're absolutely right. We need to tighten this up. And they'll put things in place to fix it.
And listening to that time frame, the 30th of August 2022, that was yesterday. So it sounds like they're complying quite quickly.
Yeah,
and efficiently.
Yeah, they did, and this was actually announced. There's an article in yesterday's Fin Review about it. So yeah, like all the boxes are being ticked. They're doing the right thing. So you know, it's the same as I'm trying to give a comparison in normal life, but we don't. You know, in New South Wales, when I lived up there, and I'm assuming they still do it, you had to get a green slip every year for your car if it was over 3 years old. This is their green slip. It's really that simple.
Yeah, and I feel like the media is kind of taking and running with this whole, they're being audited, big bad. But as Mando Dadstacker says, paying for an auditor is a healthy thing.
Yeah.
Any final words on that topic there? Anything we haven't covered, do you think, Michael?
No, tell them to get over it.
Lewis, what do you reckon?
I don't think it's a big deal at all. It's just like at my work, like food health and safety coming in and doing an inspection.
Yeah.
What's the big deal? It's just probably no one's got anything else to talk about. It has to be. It's probably better that they get someone in and check the Perth Mint's records and all of that. So then customers have peace of mind that, you know, they've got safety deposit boxes, they've got all their stuff there, and it's just good to know that the Perth Mint's keeping their records up to date and all that type of stuff. Yeah, at the end of the day.
It's a something, nothing.
Mando Dadstacker also had another question, sort of in relation to this. How hard was it to be a Perth Mint distributor, Michael?
How hard was it, or how hard is it?
They've said how hard was it, but let's go with both.
Look, there's a heck of a lot of paperwork that you have to fill in to become a distributor, and that's if they allow you to. At the moment, as far as I'm aware, they're not taking on any more wholesale customers because they're struggling to keep up with what they've got. So absolutely not easy. But it's not rocket science either, let's face fact. But you have to tick all the boxes and you have to show that you are complying with AUSTRAC, because as their customer, they need to understand that we're ticking all the boxes that AUSTRAC requires. And we have to make sure that they are ticking all the AUSTRAC boxes, because we get asked those questions. And in fact, I've got an email from the bank, which they're getting a bit jumpy because I haven't answered the questions yet, where one of the questions is, how can you be sure that your suppliers, i.e. the likes of Perth Mint, are meeting all their requirements from AUSTRAC? So yeah, it's quite difficult to become a Perth Mint distributor. It is a pain to maintain it because they send us every year or so, year and a bit. We have to basically reapply again. So because they want to make sure that we're complying with everything. And then, dealing with them on a day-to-day basis is absolutely challenging.
When you deal with the Perth Mint in like coin allocation wise,
you're poking a few sore spots here, but keep going.
Is your allocation based upon the previous year's sales?
The allocation is usually based on your previous sales of that coin or that coin in the series. So we will be, for the rabbit that we've applied for our allocation of, they will base it on how many tigers we sold of that size last year or this year.
So then when you first opened up the store, you got an allocation of, say,
You want to know what my first allocation was? 18 silver coins.
So then what I'm getting at is how did it increase from 18? How were you able to prove to the Perth Mint that you want to sell more, that when you first opened up the shop then and now when comparing it to now, how are you able to gain more allocation?
Because we show that we are quote unquote worthy of a greater allocation. So when it comes back to, like I said, the first year we got, I think it was 18. It might have been 20, but I'm pretty sure it was 18 was our first allocation. I was on the phones to them, email saying, look, we need more, we want more, and they'd push us away.
Okay.
But then going through the year, they could see that, we were taking larger quantities of other coins, more kookaburras. And so then they'd go, well, actually, this company has cancelled. They haven't taken all of their order. We'll offer some of that to Bullion Now. And so, and then
it's just
we got a few more.
There.
So I think in the first year, if I go back in the books, we sold something like 200 because I begged, borrowed, and stole as many as I possibly could. And then the following year, they went back and said, oh, well, Bullion Now sold 200 last year. So we'll give them that 200 again. Yeah. And then, we'll see if we get any spare, we'll offer them to them, and if they take them, and then we'll review it in the following year after that.
So it's a gradual progression over the year.
Yeah, it is, and it's particularly for something like the Lunar series, it's a pain in the backside. It really is hard to build those numbers because everyone takes everything that they can. Yeah. There's very few cancelled orders, but we again, it keeps coming back to developing a relationship with your supplier. While I'll encourage people like yourself to build a relationship with their dealer, the dealer needs to build a relationship with his or her suppliers.
Yep. Oh, thank you.
Someone, Dark Hearts is saying, careful, Michael, this young bloke will be competition in a year.
Yes, well, maybe. But we do. Somebody made a comment about, can Lewis set up the Bullion Now Adelaide store? And, I can't say that's the first time that sort of thing has crossed my mind.
Oh, there you go. I would love to.
So we'll have to see.
One day.
We'll put you in training first.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to segue into some live questions with the live chat audience. So if you have any burning, searing questions that you want to ask Michael or even young Lewis here, please put them in the chat right now. We're going to specifically focus on those and answer those. Lewis, do you have any burning questions at the moment?
Oh, I'll think about it. The questions, they don't come often, but they're good ones.
Your questions so far have been incredible. It's been great to have you on.
What I should have done is when you lost the camera there, I should have removed the kilo gold bars from the front of the rabbit and seen if anyone noticed.
That would have been cool. Oh, yeah. Imagine if we did that, if anyone has or hasn't caught on with that already, because that's not something we're already doing. Yeah. So William R has a really, it's broad, but it's an interesting one. How are they manipulating the price of silver? So how is the silver price being manipulated, generally speaking, Michael?
Look, I don't like this question.
Okay, Lewis, over to you.
Oh,
how is it being manipulated, do you think?
You're going to cop out too. Look, the problem is with this question, it's so arbitrary. I can argue it and I could prove it, and I could argue against it and prove it. Because there is some evidence out there. Say JP Morgan got smacked, or a couple of their guys got smacked very recently for manipulation. So there's obviously manipulation out there, but I believe that there is, probably the best way to put it is, there's more than people think there's happening at the lower end, but there's less than people think at the higher end as well. It's somewhere in the middle between that paranoia and that ignorance, whichever way you want to look at it. So there is intentional manipulation of it, and that's what JP Morgan got themselves smacked for. But there's also unintentional manipulation of it. So, the stock market eases back and a lot of the paper contracts get cashed in because people are getting margin called in the stock market. Is that manipulation or is that just normal trading? There's those type of scenarios as well. Shortages, we see, which is what we're going through at the moment, where we're seeing shortages from a manufacturing perspective because of the energy crisis going on around the world. So is that manipulation or not? That could be argued. The other side of that is the fact that manufacturing is holding off for a variety of reasons from buying. So, that's flooding the market with silver, which is some of the pressure that we're seeing on the price of silver at the moment. So is that manipulation or just market forces? You can argue it either way.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that one there. Crypto Monkey says, Michael, can you tell us more about the 5-ounce silver coins that are going to be listed, please? We're getting a lot of people asking for these, and we did give them a really good lead on last week.
Okay, well, I can tell you. So they are they weigh 5 ounces. They're made of silver. They come from a very nice refinery, and I think they'll be incredibly popular.
Yep, absolutely. They're round. Do they have capsules?
No, they are
they
round.
don't have
Yes,
capsules?
they do come in capsules.
Oh, okay, beautiful. They have a reading. They have
I
a
like
reading.
the detail.
They have
I'm
an obverse.
Did I say they were made of silver?
Yes, you did. Yeah, great. So thank you for that answer.
Is that
there.
enough detail? You should be able to guess what it is now.
Yeah, that's perfect. Nigel24 has a question. Hi, Michael. If we were to randomly show you 1 ounce silver Kookaburra designs from the 23 years to date, could you name all the years correctly? I'm thinking yes.
I'm thinking no.
All right, we're going to put that to the test in a video, I think.
That's not fair.
That's a great one, Nigel. Good recommendation. Thank you.
I can already tell you I'm going to get them wrong because I had about half a dozen kilo koalas in front of me. Was it yesterday or today? I think it was today. And I had to get my glasses out and look at the years on them because I couldn't remember which one was the 14 and which one was the 11.
We have a question from Goat. Can we ask about the 2022 Silver Brumby? Are any heading your way?
No, we don't get access to the Brumby, which is devastating, but I can't convince Perth of anything else. So.
Just to be cool, wants to know when are you getting the Trumps? I got my money ready.
Actually, if I look on my emails, I can tell you because they, which I'm not doing right at the moment, but they've just sent me the tracking numbers on them just before we came onto the live stream. So I haven't read them, but they can't be that far away. I'd say probably a week to 10 days.
Mark Twain has a really good question. You talk about relationships with your bullion dealer. Mm-hmm. I'm from Sydney, and the only one I really like or even trust is you guys in Melbourne.
Great. I love it.
How do I develop a relationship with you guys?
Easy. You tune into the live stream. You make comments. You make purchases from us. We know that we start to recognise the names that come through frequently. If you're ever in Melbourne, you stop in and say, "Hi, I'm such and such, and I watch your channel." And so it's just that general comments and relationship from that perspective. And look, we were in Sydney. What was that, Lewis? You joined us in Sydney, actually. It was about a month ago.
June or July?
Oh, gee, was that far back, was it? Yeah, so we were in Sydney, meet and greet, or as Matt calls it, shaking hands and kissing babies. Come along to those sorts of things. Any comments or communication or interaction that you can have with that company. And look, eventually, and it's not going to happen tomorrow, but eventually we will. I'm expecting that we'll have some form of presence in Sydney as well. So, we will develop that relationship one way or another.
And feel free to also get on the blower and have a chat over the phone with
Absolutely.
some of our phone operators. That's a good way to do it too. That ties in really well with McDuncan Presents question. Any update on the BN tour?
Yes and no. It looks like it's locked in, and the only date I can really lock in is that 3rd of April.
April?
Sorry. Good grief.
3rd of October. 3rd of October.
Oh, we're having a day, aren't we? So the 3rd of October. It's almost Easter. The 3rd of October. So we'll be in Sydney that day. I believe we're going to be in Adelaide the day before, but we still haven't, which will be the Sunday night. We still haven't firmed up the venue there. We're going to do Hobart and Brisbane a few days before that, probably the Wednesday, Thursday, or the Thursday, Friday. And then we'll do Melbourne when we get back a day or so later.
Perfect. There you go. Jono S, we got a fair few questions, so I'm just going to try and power through a few of them.
Good.
Jono S says, when is the Kookaburra 1 kilogram silver coin will be available?
September. I'm guessing mid to late September.
Beautiful. BDK says, Buffaloes when?
They are attached to the Trump delivery, so I'd expect them within that week to a fortnight.
This one's for you, Lewis. It's not necessarily a question, but Fraud says an Adelaide Bullion Now store can't open soon enough. They've also asked if Lewis can be the one who opens it up and runs the store, and they've also said great to see a fellow Adelaidean about my age as well. So there you go. You're not alone.
I thought I was the only one that actually said Adelaidean. I thought I came up with that. It's good that fellow Adelaideans are catching on.
Yeah, good to hear.
Any chance you can include New Zealand customers in the bank deposit option rather than paying additional fees for credit card, please? Absolutely. As far as we've got a couple of New Zealanders that pay direct into our bank account. I can't say I know the process from your side, but I know several of them do it. If you're having trouble, we actually have a Wise... I know one of the guys has a Wise account, and somewhere along our thing we have a link to that. I can't remember where it is, but if you go onto Wise and you create an account there, you can actually pay direct into our bank account from Wise as well. So there are several options there, Highside, for you to be able to do that.
Aussie Kelpie wants to know, is it still looking like November for the 5 gram gold Pamp Stars?
Yes. Yeah, beautiful. I'm really looking forward to them arriving.
Just to be cool wants to know, is there any way to get 2 5, 10 ounce silver kangaroos?
Hang on, ask that question again.
Is there any way to get 2, 5, or 10 ounce silver kangaroos?
No, they don't produce them.
Yeah, I thought so. So they don't exist, do they, at all?
Not that I'm aware of. Adam Rose, yes, there are more 5 ounce XAGs here. I just have to get near a computer to list them.
Are the XAG intrinsic tender bars internationally recognized in any way? Do they come from an LBMA accredited refinery, for example? And are any more of the 5 ounce silver coming?
Yes, there's more 5 ounce silver. We've got them in stock. I've been a bit lazy and I haven't got to it. No, they don't come from an LBMA registered refinery. The question about is XAG internationally recognised, the origin of the XAG brand is actually the, I'm trying to think of the world organisation that looks after all those, but it's actually their designation for 1 ounce of silver. So they've designated USD as the US dollar and AUD as the Australian dollar, and that's what we use internationally. They've actually allocated XAU as the allocation for 1 ounce of gold and XAG for the international designation for 1 ounce of silver. So yes, you can say XAG is internationally recognised, but that brand itself is not, and it's not produced under LBMA conditions.
Are you taking pre-orders for the Lunar series? This is from Emmett. There's two things here. Not until I get a confirmed allocation, because as I was saying to Lewis before, we could get anywhere. Our allocation could be anywhere between 18 and 18,000. We actually have no clue until they send us the actual allocation. The second thing is I'm actually not allowed to take orders or pre-orders prior to a certain date. And if we get caught doing it, Perth Mint do not find that even marginally amusing, and they will smack me very hard for it. So we will not be taking pre-orders on them until we are actually allowed to, and we know what numbers we've got. McThrash asks, Michael, do you buy back 3.9 gold and silver granules at spot, seeing as though it sells for a good premium above the spot price?
No,
Cheers.
and I've said a few times that I don't believe granules are a good investment because you pay GST on them, because they're not... To get out of paying GST on a bullion product, it has to meet certain criteria that the tax department's laid down, one of them being stamped with their purity and weight. And obviously every grain, that's it's not impossible, but it would be incredibly labour intensive. So I don't suggest people buy them as an investment in granules unless you're a jeweler or something along those sort of lines. You're far better off buying a 1 ounce bar rather than 1 ounce of granules. We don't buy them back. I'm incredibly reluctant to buy them back because we can't... I'm not going to go through and test every grain that comes through or every granule that comes through. So unless... Here we go again. Unless you've developed a very good relationship with us, the chances are we're going to politely decline buying them back from you. and because the only way I can test their purity is to actually send them to a refinery, get them melted down properly, and then test the result.
When you buy back, say, a really damaged or severely, like, you can't sell it as a bullion product, you send it to a refinery, you bring it, you take hold of it in, say, a kilo bar. What cost does that incur to you as a business?
Oh, there's absolutely a manufacturing cost, which is why.
And would you still buy that, even though it's got the 1 ounce or 1 kilo printed on it?
We buy back at spot.
So then theoretically you're making a loss, or
theoretically,
you're making
absolutely
less profit. Okay.
Absolutely, but the chances of that actually occurring are incredibly slim, because we have a lot of customers, and some of the people on this stream have made a comment earlier on about, gold's gold and silver is silver, and they literally don't care what condition it's in. I've told the story of one of the plumbers that we have as a customer. They literally come in about every 6 weeks or so. We see them as a rule, and they come in and they convert some of their cash into silver bars, and they take them home, and they literally get the backhoe out and they dig a hole, and they don't cover the bars or anything. The raw bars are just thrown straight into the ground and then covered up. And then when he needs some cash, he gets his backhoe out and he literally digs them straight out of the ground. He throws them in his toolbox and he brings them into Bullion Now. And he doesn't even bother brushing the clay off. And they are covered in crap, and they're toned from all the moisture in the ground and whatever other minerals are in the ground where he buries them. And they might get, they've got a ding on them because he's clipped them with the bucket on his backhoe and all that sort of stuff. We still pay spot for that product. And I know that I've got other guys that will go, look, I don't care what it looks like. In fact, I like the fact that it's toned. It's got colours in it and it looks cool. And so they will buy it at that point. I've yet to... I may stand corrected. I can't think of an occasion where I've gone, no, I actually have to send this one back. It's usually because I've done something stupid with it, like cut it in half with a reciprocating saw.
I'm looking forward to do that one again.
And I have to get it refined in case there's some iron that's been carried across from the saw blade or something along those lines.
And you also mentioned that in order for it to be bullion, you need to have it stamped with
Correct.
its weight and purity.
Yep.
That 1,000 ounce bar that you cut in half, what happens if you decided to weigh it and stamp it yourself?
There is no legal reason you can't do that. You could have Michael's bullion, or Lewis's bullion. You make up a stamp and you stamp it with that, and you stamp it as 3 9s or 4 9s and the correct weight on it. That actually complies with that's my understanding. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice or taxation advice, but my understanding is that that complies with all the legal requirements.
Okay.
We have a question here from Arthur. If I bring in PM for buyback, would I be able to have my account credited instead of being paid in cash and then use it at a future date? Thanks.
I dislike credits, but it's no big deal. We can certainly do it. What I usually suggest to people is that they actually, if that's their intent, is actually put it into the unallocated program. So then it is not just a paper digit, if you like, on our computer system, or an electronic digit on our computer system. It's actually backed by something. And that way, if you've got $100, or let's keep it easy, let's say it's $2,500 because you brought in a 1 ounce gold bar and you've traded it back in. If you keep it as $2,500 cash and spot, triples overnight, all of a sudden you're only able to buy back, a third of what you could a couple of days earlier. Whereas if we do the same sort of thing theoretically, but we make it into an unallocated component, that way if spot price goes up, you've still locked that in. So, but at the end of the day, it's your call. We'll do whatever you tell us to do.
Say if you place an order online and you pay the invoice and you put the amount in more or less. Let's say you put in, you accidentally transfer $250 instead of $200. What happens in the back end? Do you have to contact the customer?
No. We take it as a donation to a worthy cause, and we have a big Christmas party. No, we don't. No, absolutely. The customer gets credited back with that $50, and we track them down. There is, believe it or not, and if you're out there, I should on Friday I'll make a call for the person whose name it is. But we actually have someone that's very generously donating us $100 about every month into our bank account. We have no clue who it is. They've got no customer record with us. We don't know. We can't trace them. We don't know. So they're depositing this money into our account very regularly.
I take it as a compliment.
Well, we have it on good authority that the man, the myth, the legend themselves is Lewis. Lewis, thank you for donating $100 every month. We really appreciate it.
That's right.
We've got a question from I've just lost it. From JG, Gold, Britannia's, Maples, Krugerrands. Yes, and when are we getting them?
Hang on, go through the answer's yes, but go through the list.
Britannia's?
Yes, we have ordered them. I can't remember how far out they are, but I think they're a little way out.
Maples?
Maples, I placed the order for them late last week, so they are probably a month away, I'd guess.
And Krugerrands. All in gold.
Yeah, I don't know if I have an order of Krugerrands in at the moment. Krugers are always that funny one. We've got to get a decent chunk of them in. We've actually got some buyback Krugers in at the moment. You'll see. Don't make phone calls. You will actually see them hit the web in the next day or so. The Krugers, you've got to bring in enough to make it worthwhile, but you've also got this GST issue with them because they're not pure. They're 22 carat.
And we've got a couple of people claiming that they are the $100 donator. They're looking for the refund.
You're going to have to give me far more information than that. But if you do know, it's driving us nuts, and it's driving the guys in the back end absolutely crazy because we have to, it's not called justify, but match every transaction in and out, sort of thing with the back end, and we can't match these to anything because they aren't anything. So, yeah.
Brett wants to know, we know you can't tell or show, but have you seen the 2023 Rabbit coins and do they look good?
Yes, they do. Yes, I've seen them is the short answer. I haven't seen them in the flesh, but I have seen their designs. Look, I actually quite like... I'm trying to get it the right way around now. I think I like the gold, but I'm on the fence with the silver, or it's the other way around. But the other couple of people that have seen it within the company absolutely love them, so... I think maybe I'm a bit on the fringe on that one. I think it's a very good design. Interestingly enough, and this one's doing my head in, there is a release tomorrow of the numismatic rabbit, but they're not releasing the bullion rabbit design until the 3rd of October.
Interesting.
Is this what that rabbit's for over there?
That's what the rabbit's for. It's the start of the promo. This is the design.
Speaking of the rabbit, R-Dub Stacks says, can we take a good look at the gold kilo bars? Yes, you can. While I'm showing everyone the kilo bars, Drew Murray also wants to know what new coins are being added this week, if any. Michael?
There's rumour around that there's some really nice 5-ounce silver coins being listed this week. I honestly, it depends drastically on what time we get to do it. So that's a nice little pile of... what is there? 2, 4... what's there? 6 kilos there?
6, yep.
6 kilos of gold. There's almost $500,000 gold in that rabbit's arms. Just to give you some context. No, the rabbit coin doesn't look like Matt. The Quokka coin absolutely looks like Matt, but the rabbit coin does not.
Grimace says, so far this year I have focused on higher premium, lower mintage coins, whereas last year I was purchasing more of the sovereign bullion. Is this common for other stackers to get into a rhythm? Do you have any input on that one there, Michael?
No, it's not uncommon, we'll put it that way. You'll find that different things grab your fancy at different times. And I find that even myself, I'll go down no pun intended with the lunar year coming up, but I'll go down a rabbit hole, chasing a certain type of coin, whether it be a country or a metal or a design or a series, and I'll get it, and then I'll drift off and something else will grab my fancy and I'll zip across the other side. But I'll guarantee you that it'll chop and change over time, and it's a good, healthy thing, I would argue, rather than people who say, no, I'm only stacking silver. I'm only stacking that kilo bar. I'm never getting anything else. Well, I mean, that's good, and you need a basis there, but you also need to have fun with it as well.
Grimace also asks, have I developed a relationship with you guys yet? And if so, would it be a bad idea to visit when I finally get down to Melbourne? Grimace, look, we've seen you in the chat a lot, and we would love if you were down in Melbourne for you to jump into the store and make yourself known. Let us know what your username is, because we'd love to meet you in the flesh. And in person, and have you down at the store as well. We have a lovely, lovely, shiny store. So
absolutely. I want to just touch on Simon Bickerton's question.
Yep.
Why don't you have a designated time when the website updated, like every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 o'clock? That way, we would have half a chance. The few times, and this actually is a consideration at the moment. We've been talking about it with the current website that we've got. The couple of times we've done this. We get a whole stack of people on the website, and they're all hitting F5 to refresh, and the website collapses, and then everyone goes nuts.
And even us on the back end can't access it.
Yeah, so we're being told that our new website won't suffer the same limitations. I'll believe it when I see it. But yeah, that's why we don't. That's why we keep it far more random, if you like. But yeah, I'd love to work towards that. It's kind of pretty much what you said. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of thing we update.
Ricky's jumped in and said, happy hump day, Bullion Now. Happy hump day to you, Ricky. Jessa has also just jumped in and said, did you hear the news about the Financial Crimes Regulator has launched an investigation into the Perth Mint? Do you have more info? Jessa, I have some news for you. Yes, we have. We've already talked about it. You're too late. But please.
Say it like that? No, we have talked about it. Look, it is really, Jessa, it's a storm in a teacup. Go back about half an hour and you'll see me get on my soapbox about that. We might actually even release a bit of a video on it if people are getting really stressed about it. But it's just good, healthy auditing of the Perth Mint, and you want that auditing occurring with every bullion dealer in various forms around the world, and like that level of integrity, and also with the banks and any other financial institution along those sort of lines. We need to make sure that we're playing by the rules.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, we've hit the hour mark. We have so many more questions to get through. I'm happy to keep churning through them, Michael, if you are happy to.
Well, I want to answer Michael A. He's just disappearing off my screen.
As an American, I'm quite worried about inflation. Which metal do you think is better to hedge against it, gold or silver?
Gold.
Any further details on that one?
Gold, traditionally, gold has always been a hedge against inflation. We did a video on it a couple of years ago in 2020 about gold in 1971, what you could buy for it, and compared it to 2020, and it matched up pretty much dollar for dollar, even though through that time we'd been through inflation and wars and recessions we had to have and all that sort of stuff. It evened out over time, whereas silver is far more hyperactive. And not quite as much of an inflation hedge as gold has been for the last 5,000 years. And I need to end this with, this is not financial advice.
Silver Delta is asking, will you be offering pre-purchase for the rabbits in silver?
When we have an allocation and when we can without upsetting Perth Mint, we will look at that. But at this stage, the answer is no.
Urban Aerials asks, are the 1/10 silver coming at the same time as the Trumps? Not sure what.
Sorry, I missed the question. I was daydreaming.
Are the 1/10 silver coming as the same time?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Just to be cool is asking, was there a coloured 2020 quokka, or did they only start them in 2021?
Oh, that's a great question. I want to say they only started it in 21. 22. Yeah, they only started, because what they did is they released the quokka in 2020. And then in 2021, they used the same design from the 2020 quokka, and they released it as the 21 coloured quokka. Then they released a different design for the 21 bullion coin, and then they released that this year, 2022, as the coloured quokka for this year. And then the bullion 2022 quokka was a new design, and then I'm anticipating that next year that will be the 2023 coloured quokka design, but we will have a different 2023 bullion quokka design.
All right, guys, so we're heading towards the end of the stream. Before we go, I'd like to give everyone a final opportunity to ask a young stacker, Lewis here, any questions you have for someone who is stacking at a young age. If you guys have any specific questions for Lewis, put them in now and we'll smash through them. But right now, I'm going to get through the backlog that we already have.
I want to take Grimace's last question. Yes, is the answer to that. We would be willing to accept design submissions for the fabled mystical BN bullion coin.
Absolutely. If you have them, send them through to live at bullionnow.com.au. We'd really appreciate any design submissions or anything like that. So we have a really interesting question from Mark Twain here. How come Bullion Now doesn't charge a set premium on each coin? It seems like the premium above spot is different per product, makes it hard to track my coin's value in Excel.
Totally agree. I wish we did, and we don't. And the reason we don't is because every single bullion dealer, every single wholesaler and refinery charges different amounts for different coins. Even the Perth Mint, they charge us a different premium for kookaburras than they do for koalas. So it does my head in, mate. You should see the gymnastics, the mental gymnastics I have to go through to do pricing.
I've got this question from Simon Bickerton. What's that telling Michael? Everybody wants you to do something about your website. Oh, what's that telling you, Michael? Everybody wants... You are. We
want to do with our website. We actually have the new website in the background, and I've said this a million times and people are sick of hearing it. It is sitting there. It's pretty much ready to go. We're just waiting for the back-end systems to catch up to it. So I am absolutely hoping by that October mark that the whole lot can be released and get it off my flaming desk. I'm sick of it.
Gearbox has a good suggestion or question. How about doing a treasure hunt? We pay to participate. I bet there would be lots of participants, and it would be great PR. Treasure hunt. What do you reckon?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, all right. We'll develop something. Good suggestion there, Gearbox. Appreciate it.
We could do it. We could start it in Hobart and finish it in Perth or Melbourne.
You're going to upset a lot of people, but let's go for it.
Highside, I want to touch on Highside's next question if I can. I know I'm jumping in on you.
No, go
Is
for
it possible to remove the Australian GST component for sales to New Zealand? 3/9 PMs are not subject to GST. In New Zealand, they aren't in Australia, so there is no GST to remove on a bullion coin.
Will the new website have the facilities to view buybacks?
Yes, but not the way you're thinking. We still, even the old website does have buybacks and we list them occasionally, but the trouble is they go through the store far faster than we can get them listed on the website. We are actually going to introduce what we're terming the auction component of the website, where we can put unusual things up there and people can buy them. So it makes it, rather than me trying to work out pricings and all that sort of stuff, we'll throw them open in the market and I don't know if we're going to start them at spot, or we used to do these auctions, and some of our older viewers, longer term viewers, maybe I should call them that and be polite, would remember we used to do auctions on the Silver Stackers forum, and we used to start them at $1, and we'll probably do a similar thing here on the website though.
JG says platinum is a metal you speak about regularly, but I'm not confident to buy. Do you think you can convince me to buy some? Or what would you...
I don't want to convince you to buy it.
That's a good point.
I would rather you did the research on it and came up with that decision yourself. I'm a big believer in platinum, but you have to remember that everything I say is coloured by the fact that I'm a bullion dealer and I'm trying to sell it. No, that doesn't mean that what I'm saying is wrong, but it just means that you need to be aware of the fact that I have a natural bias. And yeah, I can go through all the reasons why I think it's a great investment, but I would far rather that you stepped back, did some research of your own and actually came to the conclusion, or came up with a list of questions that you'd like me to answer from a bullion dealer's perspective about the research that you've done.
All right, we're going to jump into some Lewis-focused questions right now. This one's from Brett. Lewis, what was your first purchase?
Oh, my first purchase were two 1 ounce platinum. Sorry, not platinum.
He's a big spender, this one.
Yeah, 2 1 ounce silver Perth Mint silver bars.
Yeah, the kangaroo ones.
The kangaroo ones. Sorry, losing track of myself.
So we haven't seen them for ages, but Perth Mint used to produce the rectangular kangaroo bars, and I wish to this day, I wish they'd keep producing them because they are brilliant. They look like the rectangular dragons, but they've got a kangaroo design on them as well.
Yeah. And I remember after that, then it was some sunshine minting 1 ounce silver bars, and then
nice.
yeah. I like sunshine mint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else we got?
I don't think this is a Lewis one. Can you add a bulk item / discount page on your website? Lewis, can you do that? Where's your website?
Sure.
Lewis?
Let's do it.
It's like our kangaroo page gives you a discount if you're buying. I don't know. I can't remember what the numbers are, but you buy over a certain amount and you get a 30-cent discount per coin. Over the next amount, you get 60-cent discount off each coin, and then over another amount, you get 90 cents off per coin.
We've got a bit of a comparison there. So Urban Ariel says, not sure how old Lewis is, but I'm 22. I've been stacking for 6 months now, and I'm at 105 ounces of silver, 1.7.
That's impressive, mate.
That is 1.7 of gold and 0.1 of platinum. How do I compare to you, Lewis? You don't have to be specific, but however you would like to answer. What do you think? We're equal, bit above, bit below?
Above.
Above?
Lewis
I'm
has
not
been-
going to say how much. I can't.
Lewis has been stacking since he was 13.
13.
Yeah, so he's got a few years head start on you, mate. But that's in 6 months, mate. That's incredibly impressive to tuck that
that's
away.
really nice.
Absolutely. Well done, Urban Aerials. BJ says, Lewis, Michael said that you'd done some work experience at BN. What did you do and what did you learn working at BN?
Run fast.
Don't come back. It opened my mind up a lot, I've got to say. I learned a lot of new skills. I learned just looking at the customers that walk through the store and comparing it to where I was working at the time in a supermarket. It's just a different world, as I would call it, the flux and flurry of consumer uncertainty. You're at the forefront. You're literally dealing. You're at the front line. And when I was working at Bullion Now, it was the COVID pandemic. We were right in it, and I remember I was like scratching my head, thinking, "Can we come home? Are the borders going to close?"
That's right.
Yeah, I was thinking I had to catch a flight back like a day in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely learnt a lot, and it was just about customers trying to diversify their wealth and preserve their wealth against negative world events that may occur. I was able to really relay that back when I went back to Adelaide, because I learned a different aspect of society. And when I was at work and dealing with smaller purchases, dealing with an array of different customers walking through the door of a supermarket, you think, what do they actually do? You think more into the lives of other people, and you think, people do all these types of different things, but nobody actually knows about it. And it's just when you walk into a bullion dealer and you see people walking into the store, it's like, I can't really explain, I can't put it across, but it's just like, it's really diverse. There's a diverse range of customers, and they've all got their own different goals.
Yeah.
I also learned a lot of, just a lot of general knowledge and that type of stuff, which I still remember to this day, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing work experience at Bullion Now.
Well, he keeps coming back to see us.
Hey, yeah.
I notice he's not volunteering for work anytime soon. Mark Twain, side note, can you give us a tour of the store? Short answer is kinda. We have to be... We've actually, funnily enough, been talking about a similar thing recently. We have to be incredibly careful because of security concerns. It's one of those things that... Yeah, we just have to be very careful. We are trying to put something together so we can give you a bit of a tour of the store. It's really, for anyone that's actually been in there, will be shocked at... like anyone that hasn't been in there will be shocked at how small the storefront actually is. We do a lot of work in there. So, but yeah, something along those lines would be great. And as soon as one of us can work out how to do it without risking our insurance, we'll release it.
All right, final question for the stream. This is from Highside. Lewis, what is your holy grail currently? What's on the top of your wish list when it comes to bullion?
Oh, wish list.
Lunar Rabbit.
Yeah, Lunar Rabbit for 2023. If I can get hold of it.
The platinum one?
Yeah, if I make it in time, because if it's like the mintage of the Tiger and like
it's
the
same
allocation,
mintage. It's 5,000.
Oh, okay, and most of them are probably going overseas anyway. So,
I never got any hard numbers out of Perth on that, but I know that our allocation was not big enough. But even Perth Mint, they sold out. I don't think they lasted the day. Wow. We certainly didn't. And I think Perth Mint sold out before we did, but it was minutes difference. So yeah.
What I really would like to see coming through what I would really like to see you getting in is 1 ounce Scottsdale minted vase. I remember I got a few of them. I don't know. I don't really see them very much anymore.
I'll I'll have another look.
Yeah, I know. They're cool. And I like the sheets that they come in as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I said that was the last one, but Frank's coming with a really, really good one for Lewis. How did it come to Lewis's attention to stack at 13 years old?
It was by mistake. It was.
I like that.
It was it was just out of the blue. I absolutely had no interest in saving money at the time. As probably Michael and Connor would know, I loved playing video games. I literally hoarded like Nintendo consoles and that type of stuff, and I looked at a way.
Important things in life for a teenager.
Yeah.
You had the collecting bug.
And so, so I had that hoarder kind of, I had those attributes.
Collector, not hoarder.
It was at the point of hoarding. Like, it was pretty bad, but so my parents bought a present for my cousin, and he was young as well, and it was a 10-ounce Pamp Fortuna minted bar. I don't know. It was like it was unintentional that she showed it to me, and it just sparked my curiosity. And it was then I looked on Google, like, what is silver? What is the silver price? How is the spot price determined? How can you buy precious metals? And it ended up, and then it just went into that big rabbit hole of looking into all these different YouTubers, and that's when I made my first purchase. But the main reason why I wanted to buy precious metals, and more particularly silver, firstly because silver's a lot cheaper, and at 13 years old you can accumulate decent size with what you've got, but also because I needed to save, and I knew that where I was going and what I was doing before had absolutely no relevance later in my life, and I just wanted to get ahead and just start preserving my wealth, and that's what I ultimately want to continue doing. As long as I'm able to have something that's able to maintain its value and go further by the time I retire, then that's my job's done and I'm happy.
All right, final, very, very final burning question. How do you spell Lewis?
Lewis.
Yep, cool. All right, there was a bit of a debate back and forth.
Seriously?
Yeah, there was.
I saw Louise at one point. I thought, what's going on there?
Yeah.
We cover all the really important issues on this program.
This is breaking news. This is how you spell my name.
Well, thank you everybody who came along to today's live stream. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Lewis and to Michael for taking time out of your busy, busy day. If you want to know when we are live on our live streams, they are generally 2:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays and Fridays. But you could also just follow our Twitter account. That's where we also post when we go live. It's the link is in the chat right now. We also, if you want unique content that is not on YouTube, that is not on any other platform, you're going to have to go over and have a look at our Instagram account. Here is the link in the chat as well. There's some really interesting stuff there, and we've been having a little bit of fun today, Michael, with that, haven't we?
We have. If you're not on Instagram, or you're not what do we call it? Subscribe to our Instagram or TikTok channel. You're going to miss out on some really dopey things that we did today.
I saw a sneak peek of that just before Connor was showing me.
Yeah, they're good fun things, just
cool.
fucking around.
Yeah, so that's a good space that we have a little bit of fun. Another space that we have a little bit of fun is TikTok. There's the link for our TikTok. I finally got the right link. Follow all those if you want to stay abreast and you want more content from Bullion Now. But for now, thank you all for joining in, where we will see you on Friday at 2:30 with Michael, Matt, and hopefully Ruben as well. Have a lovely day, gentlemen.
You too, mate. And give us a like if you like this, and don't give us a like if you didn't.
We're only on 66 likes. What's going on?
I don't know, mate.
No.
Well, we offered last week, I'm dragging this out, but we offered last week that if we got to 150, I'd dye my hair purple.
I think I looked on the video. The last time I looked, it was 148.
Yeah,
so,
well, it didn't make the 150 by the end of the live stream. So I said we didn't get it. I think we hit 150 after the live stream, but that doesn't count. So
everyone like now, the video now.
We have to get into 150.
And we will dye Michael's hair on camera.
Good on ya.
Beautiful. All right, thanks everybody. We're off. Have a lovely, lovely evening.
See ya.
Yeah.